The blacksmith. Blacksmiths were some of the most important tradespeople in town because they made all the tools people needed to do their jobs. They made chisels for masons and hammers and nails for carpenters and cobblers. They made household items like kettles, cooking pots, candle holders, and other utensils. They also made horseshoes, hinges, knives and swords, locks and keys, and much more. You'd be surprised at the number of things people used in everyday life that came out of the blacksmith's shop. To do his work, a blacksmith needed 5 basic things. He needed some metal to work with, something to heat the metal in, something to move the hot metal from one place to another, something to put it on, and something to hit it with. Blacksmiths in early America worked mostly with iron. Iron is a very strong metal, but when it is heated in a fire, it becomes soft and pliable. That means it can be shaped into whatever shape the blacksmith wants. To heat the iron, a blacksmith used a special oven or fireplace called a forge. Most forges were simply open fire pits like the ones in the first picture, so that the blacksmith could work closely and easily with the metal he put in the fire. The most important thing was that the fire burned hot, so hot that it could melt metal. Once his forge was hot enough, the blacksmith would put a piece of iron in it. Because the forge was so hot, he had to use tongs. Tongs have 2 long metal arms connected by a hinge. By squeezing the 2 arms together, you can grab things without using your own hands. After quickly removing the red-hot piece of iron from the fire, he placed it on the anvil and started to bang away at it with his hammer. In this picture, you can see the anvil, the big block of metal on which the blacksmith shaped the iron. The blacksmith had to work quickly because the metal was only soft and pliable when it was red hot. Once the iron cooled, it would harden. As long as the blacksmith kept the metal hot, he could shape it however he liked. He could make the metal longer or shorter, thicker or thinner. He could bend it and mold it into special shapes. In this picture, you can see how the blacksmith is shaping a horseshoe. When he was happy with the size and shape of whatever he was making, the blacksmith would let the iron cool off, sometimes by plunging it into a bucket of cold water, and it would harden. Because a blacksmith lifted hammers and heavy iron pieces all day long, he was usually one of the strongest, toughest men in town. A blacksmith probably had more than his share of scars and burns from the hot metal he handled every day. Blacksmiths were often thought of as clever and resourceful people, meaning they were able to figure out how to fix things and make things work. If a person needed a special tool for a special job, chances were the local blacksmith could figure it out and make whatever was needed. Is anyone wondering where the name blacksmith came from? Well, the word smith comes from the word smite, which is another word for hit. And iron is black, so a blacksmith is a person who smites or hits black metal for a living. Today, machines do the work of blacksmiths, melting iron in large pots and pouring the hot metal into molds or shapes. For example, there is a mold for horseshoes. The good thing about using a mold is that no one gets burned and all the horseshoes come out the same. But we still appreciate the handmade ironwork of the blacksmiths from years ago. No town in early America was without a blacksmith. He was the essential tradesperson in every town.